I'm Megan Mitchell. This is my co-host, John Morrison, and you are listening to the True North Racing Podcast.
Time to strap in, pull those belts, and get ready for an action-packed episode of the True North Racing Podcast. Are you ready to unmask? Unhelmet your favorite racers? Get ready for the most fun you'll have outside the racetrack to get you ready for the next race. You're listening to John Morrison and Megan Mitchell, and this is the True North Racing Podcast.
What's up, everybody, and welcome back to a brand new episode of the True North Racing Podcast presented by Driving With Hailey. I'm your host, John Morrison. Today, guys, I am flying a little bit solo because it is Sunday night and it's Frosttoberfest at Flamborough Speedway. I'm hoping to have Megan jump on in just a little bit here to talk about what is kind of happening over there at the 1/3 mile outside of Hamilton. Actually, she just texted me right now. We're going to see if she can get on for just a few minutes. It was such a cool, I wish I could have got out there this weekend, but that is okay because, I hate that my weekend ended last weekend prematurely, but unfortunately it is what it is. This weekend, we were celebrating my mother-in-law's birthday, as it's her birthday in a couple days. So we wanted to make sure we celebrated with the kids. We wanted to make sure that was, that was the goal, right? And then, of course, next weekend, with it being Thanksgiving, Jacqueline and I have already talked about it. We're gonna have other plans. And we're gonna have a lot of fun actually with that. I think you're gonna see some cool things coming out of her stuff. So you're gonna want to stay tuned for that. But the past week, so we were supposed to record actually our guest segment on Thursday, but unfortunately Jay forgot that we were recording, which is fine. It's fine. But me and him had a conversation, and I can tell you this much: we're gearing up for what I'm expecting to be a massive 2025 season from Joba Media Promotions. We have already signed on 3 drivers for the 2024 season. If you guys haven't checked it out on our Facebook, head on over, go take a look. As you guys have probably guessed by now, we're in our Pats Pro Painting opening segment. This is a spot of the show where we kind of break down what we got going on. What we're up to. With Megan here, usually we talk about our weekends, about like what's gone on at the racetrack. But of course, today we're gonna start preparing you guys a little bit for 2025. So like I said, we already have three Joba Media drivers sign on for 2024. Just getting over here to take a look. We have Sarah Gianni returning. She's actually our first Joba Media driver signed for 2024 or 2025. Sorry. And then we got Corey Horn, who's joining us again in 2025. He actually was the winner of our giveaway we did back at the beginning of the season when we got to 50 drivers. So Corey is our second driver, and then our third one is a new driver to us this year, and it's actually Michael Robinson III. Drives the number 95 mini stock. Next year, he's going to be competing full time over at Sunset Speedway, and he's going to be one of the drivers we already have a race day vlog with. So it's going to be pretty cool with that. And we've already kind of started this year because this late in the season with a couple weekends left, I was like, you know what? Let's get you guys going. Let's show you what I can do for 2025 for you guys. And we're gonna have a blast hanging out with them, and it's kind of cool. It's kind of I laugh a little bit about this because this car was ran by another driver of ours a couple of seasons ago, Jeff LaFlemme. So it's kind of cool that we get to work with the team because we do know the car a little bit because Jeff was one of our drivers a couple years ago. So it's kind of cool that way that we're kind of having like a, I don't know I don't know how we want to put it. But yeah, it's cool. We're gonna have a lot of fun, like I said. And then of course the biggest thing we got going on. I don't know if you guys saw it or not on our Facebook, but you guys go check it out on joemedia.ca. We have a brand new partner for 2025, DJD Gear. That's right. Darren Dryden has joined us next year. We already we got a cool collaboration going on to the point where right now any new drivers signed prior to December 31st, 2024. Only a couple months to go. We are giving away a pair of custom gloves. That's right. We got a pair of custom gloves being designed by Darren over at DJD Gear and given to one lucky Joe Media driver for 2025. So if you've been on the fence about it, about joining Joe Media Promotions, or want to learn more, hit us up at joemedia.ca. Check out the promotions tab at the top of the page. You guys can see everything there. And of course, go check out the latest news because right there will also tell you who our new partners are for 2025. If you would like to join our marketing partners for 2025, we got a huge year coming ahead of us. Between like 3 different shows we're working on outside of being at the track. You know, we got the day at the races, we got the True North Races podcast. We're gonna have the driver's seat. We got a day at the races, a Lost Speedways edition. You know, we got so many cool things we're working on behind the scenes, and if you would like to help out and jump on board as a marketing partner, please reach out. We got multiple ways that you guys can promote your business, and like I said, we got some cool things happening. I'm planning some really cool things behind the scenes here to really showcase a lot of our sponsors as well as showcase our drivers. But Megan is about to join us, so let's go find out what's happening over at Frosttoberfest. Joining us live from Flamborough Speedway's Frosttoberfest, we got Megan Mitchell. Megan, how was your race day?
It was all right. You know, it. I don't know. I had expectations, but I didn't. So I'm mixed emotions today, but overall, it's been good.
So earlier today, you qualified. I think I saw you qualified like 42nd or something like that. So obviously that puts you into the B main. How did you do in the B main? Uh-oh.
Okay.
I don't like that. I don't like that laugh on that one.
I kind of made a rookie mistake. So hear me out. I have this thing where I don't like racing without a one-way radio. Like it gives me anxiety. So I'm going out on the track and I'm like, this is weird. Like everybody's doubling up. Like, how did you guys know to double up? I'm not hearing anything over the one-way. And I'm like, maybe I just wasn't paying attention to the flag guy. So I'm like, okay, whatever. So it's like I started mid-pack and I was doing fine until I got dumped. But I kept going and I caught back up and stuff. So then all of a sudden there's this caution, but I didn't realize it because I didn't keep it.
No.
And I see a tire going across the track and I'm like, what the heck? I'm like, how am I not hearing this? So I pulled in and I got out of the car because I'm like, I'm not at this point, I'm too far behind. I'm not making the A main. So I'm just going to save my stuff. Because that was my whole goal, was to just show up for perfect attendance. Like it's my first Frostfest. So I pull in and I said, was everybody else's one-way working perfectly fine? And my dad's like, yeah, mine was working perfectly fine. I'm like, what is wrong with mine? I held it out. I didn't have my headphones plugged into it. So.
Oh, Megan. Oh, rookie mistake, eh?
There's a first for everything, I guess.
You know what? It happens, but overall, how is the vibe at Frosttoberfest right now?
Pretty good. I think any driver knows that like Frostfest can go one of 2 ways. It can be really good or it can be really bad. And I think tonight's been like really good. Like I haven't really watched any of the features besides the pure stock one, which I've realized I have more anxiety watching than I do. I didn't like that next to your main so that I don't have to deal with that. And it's like it was green flag racing right until like probably 10 or 12 laps to go. And even then it was just minor little like issues. So
Yeah.
it's been pretty good. Like, I mean, we're doing good on time. It's 10 after 8. And we're on the last feature, the last 50 laps of the late models. So it's going pretty good.
How's the weather there? Because I know what it's like here in Brampton. I don't know what it's like there in Flamborough. Is it a little chilly?
Mm, right, kind of, yeah. Like it was kind of warm earlier, but it started getting windy. It rained a little bit. It's like it's cooling off now, but it says it's 17 degrees here in my truck, so it's not bad. Like,
That's good. Now the question is would obviously it sounds like you would do Frosttoberfest again.
yeah.
Uh, it's a different animal though, eh?
It, oh my goodness, it is. Okay.
50 cars I think I heard showed up.
Yeah. And I mean,
Fantastic, by the way.
so, and the times are unreal. Like, by the end of the season, I was running 19.5s, which on a regular night puts me top 10 fastest. There were drivers running 19.3s that just made it into the top 20 to qualify for the A main.
Wow.
Like, that's how quick these first cars were. Like, there was cars running 19.4s, 19.5s that didn't make it through the qualifying and had to run the B mains. So
Yeah.
they're fast. Like, it's a whole different animal. But it's like, I wasn't really trying this year. My whole goal was to just show up for perfect attendance. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
But it's like watching everybody else. I'm like, okay, I kind of wish I would have tried, but there's next year. Next year, when
Always next year.
yeah. So,
Next year when you're better. Next year when you've got a full season, another full season underneath your belt. Yeah,
yeah,
you got to chase that igloo.
yeah, exactly.
That igloo's looks really good. So,
Yeah,
uh, no, Megan, honestly, it's been great. It's good that you went out there. Sucks how your night kind of ended, but
yeah,
that's okay because now it just makes you hungrier for next year.
exactly. Like,
You
I
know,
did myself on a lot of levels today, but it's whatever. Like, I'm over it now.
well, like I promised you, I wasn't going to take up too much more of your time. The last feature of Flamborough Speed's 2024 season is on the track right now. I'll let you go enjoy the last few laps of racing at Flamborough Speedway in 2024.
Thank you.
Go have yourself a good night, okay?
Alrighty.
See ya.
Yeah.
Thank you to Megan for jumping in with us to bring us that update from Flamborough Speedway. Tonight on the show we have Jae Pepin, driver the number 43 Canadian Modified. We're gonna chat with him about his 2024 season, getting his first win, and so much more. But before we do that, we got a sweet ride from our Driving with Hailey vehicle spotlight. So let's go check out that.
Hey everyone, it's time for another exciting Driving with Hailey vehicle spotlight. Today we're featuring the 2023 Jeep Grand Cherokee Laurado, which is 83,287 kilometers. This SUV is ready for your next adventure. It boasts an automatic transmission, four-wheel drive, and a powerful 3.6 liter V6 engine. This spacious four-door beauty comfortably seats 5, makes it perfect for family trips or weekend getaways. But that's not all. The Grand Cherokee Laurado comes packed with fantastic features like adaptive cruise control, park assist, a heated steering wheel, blind spot sensors, a power driver's seat, keyless ignition, lane departure warning, and Apple CarPlay or Android Auto. Ready to elevate your drive? Contact Hailey Hill at 289-808-2828 or email her at hhill@rightride.ca. You can also contact her on Facebook and Instagram at Driving with Hailey. Now let's get into this week's episode of the True North Racing Podcast, presented by Driving with Hailey, with our graphic design studio guest segment with Jae Pepin.
Joining us this week on our graphic design studio guest segment, we got the vice president and the driver, the number 43 Canadian Modified. We got Jae Pepin joining us. Jay, how's it going, man?
Doing well. How are you?
I'm doing all right. How was your season? Because I know the CVM season is done. How was it for you guys?
As a series or personally?
Series, personal, whatever you feel like, man.
Well, as a series, I thought we had a great year. We had a lot of new drivers and other cars come out. Our car count grew a lot throughout the season, and we were on that one APC event night, which went extremely well. So I thought overall we had a really productive, positive season for the club.
Yeah, it was I'll be honest, it was sad to see like 6 to 10 cars the first few nights out. But to see 17 CVMs out for that, the APC race, first of all, hell of a job. It looked like a beautiful field of race cars. I didn't get to watch any of it, which I'm upset about. But it was great to see that many Canadian vintage modifieds back on track. Um, the club has done a fantastic job the second half of the year, really getting these cars out there. Um, so I do have to applaud you guys, and of course we got to send a big congratulations out to Ricky Williger and Maddox for winning the championship and the Rookie of the Year. So, do you want to touch on that a little bit?
Yeah, huge congrats to Ricky Williger and his team. Well deserved championship. Ricky's a tremendous driver, an amazing guy, and I couldn't be happier for him and his team to finally break through and win that championship. It's something they've chased, and they certainly deserve that. And we're all the drivers are super proud of them and their team. And yeah, great for Maddox to get the Rookie of the Year award. I know he had a progressive season, as most rookies do, and with him and Samantha, they both had great years and improving. Like the progression on both of those drivers for Maddox and Sam was tremendous. So remember watching both of them in their very first race and watching them in their last one, and I thought of that myself personally as to where they came from. So they both had great years. It was nice to see, and they're both excited about the following season, which is the most important thing, and they had a great time doing it.
Yeah, that's the main part, is getting them into the door and getting them to be excited about being upset that the season's ended, but looking forward already to the next season. And Maddox, again, you said it yourself, he progressed so well throughout the season, even picking himself up a top 5. I think it was the night that I was there with the filming the day at the races with you guys. I think he
Yeah,
got a fifth and a sixth that night.
yeah, he had ended up with a couple top fives, I think, and yeah, he ended up running in the top 6, I think, in the last few races. So he showed some progression there on running a little bit um, closer to the front, so which was nice, and he got some experience with that. He was caught up in some contact too and stuff, which is all part of the learning curve that we've all gone through. And
Yep.
it was good to see that for him, like as a driver, to kind of learn how to deal with that mentally and stuff, because it does affect you a little bit. So
Oh
it
yeah.
was nice to see.
Yeah, it was really good to see him, really come into his own this year. But we're not gonna shy away because I want to get to this. You got out there on September 14th in feature number 1. We had this conversation the other night, and you told me your side of it, which is kind of cool how we're gonna bring this now all together. But you got out there, you started on the front row with Scott Tonelli, and you went out there. You led damn near every single lap. I think maybe Scott maybe led 1 or 2 laps, but for the majority, you led them all. Um, how did that feel for you picking up your first win, which is something I know you've been chasing since you entered the club 3 years ago?
Well, you were there that night too, and you saw my speech and where it came from, and my emotions and stuff. So that win was great. You never know if you're going to get there, or you just don't know. The field of racers is incredible, and it was a great feeling. It was something that I dedicated my racing. I raced in memory of my mom, and to get that win, and that was a goal, I guess, of mine to eventually, hopefully, get one in dedication for her. And yeah, I was really fortunate to do it that night, and that was a great race. And me and Scott raced hard for a while there, and I think there was a couple cautions in the race too.
Yeah.
Um, so that kind of stacked things up differently, and then yeah, we just had a decent run, and it just came together that for that feature. So it was was a moment I'll never forget. And I plan on going to see my mom. She's buried up north, so up near north of North Bay. So we're gonna head up there and bring that trophy and the flag for her, and it's just something that I'll always remember.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, it was, you know, the one thing you've always talked about, even when we did our shop tour with you last season, you know, we kind of set the mood a little bit and you kind of talked about why you race and stuff and everything like that. And, to see you go out there, first of all, I had one hell of a view to watch your first race because I was up in that tower with Kevin Small, and being able to watch from there, I will 100% say gave me such a different perspective of what you guys do on that track. Because you know where I usually stand is down between turn two or turn three and turn four. I've always stood there when dealing with you guys. But being up in that tower and watching you race out there gave me a whole new perspective of how you guys race. And of course, to see you win after the conversations we've had where I've seen you, you're like, I'm going to go out there and win this weekend. Just watch me. I'm like, do it. I know you can do it. And to see you go out there and I'm gonna be honest, man. I know you're not supposed to show bias as a quote unquote announcer. I was throwing up some fist pumps up there because I'm like, dude, he just won, and this is the most exciting thing ever. I got to see was I was at the track that when he got his win, and that was the one thing I was stressing this year, especially with the conversations we've had. I knew you were gonna win. I didn't know when, but I was hoping on one of two nights. One being the race day vlog night, or just another night that I was at the track and I got to watch you guys. And that happened. You have no. I was so excited for you guys, for you, your team, your family, everyone, because I knew exactly how much that win meant to you guys.
No, I appreciate that a lot, and it was great to have you in the booth that night. There, I did watch it on YouTube after the fact from and yeah, it was really a cool coincidence to have you up in the booth there calling that one too. So um, yeah, it was a good race overall. So
Oh yeah. Uh, Tenley, so Maddox completed his first season. We talked about him. We watched a lot of progression from Maddox all year long in the CVMs. And then now we're going to turn our focus over to Tenley here, which was her sophomore season in the Ontario Pro Challenge. You guys went to Varney twice and traveled to, no, I think actually only one time because then the other time it got rained out.
yeah, we got rained out at Barney, and then the other one was Sauble Speedway.
Now, what was your, what did you guys, first of all, what did you guys think of Sauble Speedway?
Well, it was all of our first times attending that track. I've never been to that track. Um, I thought it was a great place to run. A very welcoming track, and the track itself looked really racy. It's small too, so it was nice. It was just a good atmosphere. We had a great time that night. Tenley ran quite well that night. Actually, I think she was maybe third or something on speed, like right behind Tim Norris, and to even say that is mind blowing that night. So she was pretty quick that night. So she had a good time there. So it was overall a good event.
Yeah, I I've always liked seeing the Pro Challenge go up to Sauble, because I think it suits their cars very well. Uh, but yeah, it's how did you think Tenley did in her sophomore season in the Ontario Pro Challenge, though, overall?
It was honestly a little bit of up and down for her, and she had a great start to the year and showed a lot of good speed out of the gate real quick compared to her rookie season, and learning at her own pace and gradually gaining some speed. And she was running mid pack and doing pretty well, I thought. And she was getting into more close knit racing, I guess, with other drivers, which was nice to see and experiencing that for herself. And I thought she was doing okay. And then mid season, she got in a wreck at Varney. Um, yeah, and had an injury to her hand, so she came back, I think, two races later. She was okay, but it never really healed right. Like she's still fighting issues with it. It's kind of similar to what I had in my first year when I wrecked. I pulled some ligaments in my hand, so it's a long recovery for that. And she just raced the rest of the year, but she didn't have the finishes that she was having earlier in the year. The speed kind of tailed off a bit, and so it wasn't the finish that she wanted. But um, so yeah, it was more of an up and down year. But she's excited to get back for next year. The hand's healing up on its own pace. It's doing better, and it's just time. It needs time. So now that she's not running over the winter, it'll should be okay.
From our first, we've had you on. This was three times this year, technically, because the first one being Motorama, second one as the VP of the CVMs to talk about the upcoming season, and now this is number three, which I think that's the most I've ever had someone on the show in a single year. So that's a good record to hold. I don't think I'll ever break that one again. Um, but from our conversation at Motorama, to now, how far do you think your team has progressed in the terms of your competitiveness, your on track performance, your off track, um, your off track work ethic? Where do you have you guys seen an improvement? Like from the beginning of the year to now, how has your team progressed?
Well, I think it's progressing well. I mean, I'll be honest with you, like to watch my kids race and have fun doing it. That's what it's about for me. It's really fun. I I used to play pro sports and things like that, so I'm a competitive athlete in my own right. So like I enjoy doing it myself, obviously, but to see my kids do it, that's the progression and seeing them like learning more about the sport because it's because there's so much and you lean on so many people that have so much experience and success in the sport. But um, we have progressed in that way. We're learning more. We're learning what not to do and what to do and how to approach things. So it's going in the right direction. I mean, but at the end of the day, we're out here to have fun, right? Like it's not like this is a living or anything like that. And it's just great to do it with the kids.
Yeah, that was the one. Like I've noticed that's the one thing you've stressed all year is that you've wanted to watch your kids really enjoy themselves behind the wheel. Because I do laugh a little bit because you picked up your car at the end of the 2021 season, ran a couple races. So your full-time rookie season was the 2022 season. And then last year you picked up an Ontario Pro Challenge and Tenley ran the first season, her first season with that club. And now you in 3 years you've got three drivers and the fact that it's all your family, you know, obviously watching them on track is one thing, but how does that make you feel watching them and seeing how well they do each week?
Well, I'll be honest with you, nerve-wracking the first few times they're on track. I remember Tenley coming up from karts and then getting into the pro challenge, and I couldn't even watch. Like I was just so nervous for her, right? Because I wrecked my car. I think my first race, so it's terrifying, right? Like you just don't know. And then so she got lucky. She almost wrecked, and she didn't. And so it was nerve-wracking. And same with Maddox, right? But you get used to it, and it's just nice to see them come off, and and it's just like anything, right? Like you have your ups and downs. So some nights are terrible, right? It's like, and then you got to kind of be a dad and and help them through it all, and then all of a sudden they have a great night, and then you get to watch them smile or talk about why they love it. And Maddox was a hockey player, so he had ups and downs there too. Kelly was a competitive cheerleader, so they know the ups and downs like competitive sports. So that's nothing new, but it's just nice to see them do this in uh, this so-called arena of this type of sport, and super challenging. But it's nice to watch them go through that.
Yeah, it's I'm going to be honest because I've been a part of your, working with you guys for the past three seasons. It's really been nice to see um the progression you guys have made. Even watching you watch your kids race is has been phenomenal to see how well they do each week. So, um now that it's kind I still laugh because last year you kept bugging me to come out and watch Tenley race in her rookie season, and of course I did come out the one time, and we both kind of forgot about it as well. That I made it out there for, and it was it was a rain short, or not rain shortened, but it was supposed to be a fan appreciation, and they canceled all that. But I was there, and I came over and I talked to you for a little bit. Um, but to see, it's been great watching you guys grow as a team and really come into your guys' own. And of course, I can't wait to see what you guys do next year because we it sucks because we have like the longest off season in racing.
We do, yeah.
You will have what 6 to 7 months here where we got it feels like all the time in the world to work on the cars. But needless to say, we don't have that big of a time to be able to go back to the track. Uh, with that in mind, what are your off seasons plans for your team for 2024?
You know what? Not too much this year. The the cars are relatively in good shape. We had some bang ups during the year, nothing too crazy. So we've been on top of that all year. With big thanks to Ron Easton and Oakville Trailers and Race and stuff. Ron was he was our big help for us and helping us put the cars back together and things like that. So it's doing a lot of that work for us. So, but no, the cars are in good overall condition. So there's really not much, to be honest. We're gonna probably just take a breather here and relax. We were at the racetrack literally every single weekend this year. So Pro Challenge, we're off nights of CVM, so like we were constantly traveling. So it's nice just to kind of maybe dial it back a little bit and yeah, take a breather.
I do want to touch on this a little bit because I do want to say I got to give you a big shout out because not only are you one of our drivers, but you are also one of our biggest supporters over here at Joe Media Promotions. You have been our presenting sponsor for a day at the races this year, which of course I have to say I can't thank you enough for believing in this crazy dream I feel like I have to showcase the Ontario racing scene because if it wasn't for you guys, I wouldn't have this podcast. I wouldn't have these race day vlogs. I wouldn't have drivers that I get to help promote each week. So I do have to take a couple seconds here to really thank you because, you know, we've had these conversations and I do really appreciate you for believing in this and not even just this show, but of course the day at the races and the other shows I'm currently working on to bring more, not even awareness, but like to showcase what we have here in Ontario and hopefully grow it to showcase what we got in Canada. So I do thank you very much for believing in us.
Well, it's my pleasure. Listen, I'm not the only one too. Like there's a lot of supporters that support you with your show and Jomo Media. Like I see all the list of sponsors you have, and this especially on the T-shirt, like the one you're wearing now, right? So all your supporters are on there, um, and the ones with the segments like Driving with Hailey and I think LLB Racing, Lisa Barton supporting you too. So
Yep.
it's nice to see everyone and all of us, like everyone that's surrounding you and people that all believe in you, and that's why they're stepping up. I'm sure that they love what you do and they want to support you. So you've got a nice bunch of a lot of people around you that love what you're doing. So that's I'm sure why everyone's helping you. So I'm sure I'm speaking for everyone that it's our pleasure to support you.
Yeah, it's we do have a great sponsor list over here at Joe Media Promotions, and of course we got to thank every single one of them. But like even last year, I had a conversation with you where I was almost about to give up Joe Media Promotions, and
I remember that.
if it wasn't for you, if it wasn't for Cam K, and Jacqueline, this probably wouldn't be continuing. So, like, thank you
I'm
so
glad,
much, man.
I'm glad you did.
I love this.
It's great.
I don't want to give this up, but at all. But it was just a weird point last year. Um, I do want before we continue, I do got to get into our tailor to you medium design fan question period. Um, because I don't want to forget it because I feel like I've been forgetting it a few times, so I don't want to forget it. So as you saw earlier today, we put it out again on social media that you were joining us, and we got a couple questions for you. You ready to answer them?
Sure.
All right, for Instagram, we got William underscore Trillium. He goes, "What has been your favorite racing memory so far?"
Well, I gotta default to the win. I gotta default to my win this year. So just because of the meaning behind it for myself for that first one, and dedicating that to mom. So um, that's Will Adams, I think. So thanks, Will, for that question. It's that one I'll never forget that. That's the win of all wins. So
Our next question is, I'm kind of curious if this one's Maddox or not because it does say Maddox when it pops up next to it here. Or how was the transition from coaching? Is that a comment? I don't know how this is supposed to look. It says, how has the transition from coaching your son in hockey to coaching him in the world of stock car racing?
well, first of all, I'm not coaching him in stock car racing because I'm not qualified as a coach to teach anyone how to race. I that's probably from him, yeah, but I enjoy being a dad to him at the track and being a support for him when he needs it. I guess that's the best way to answer it. And I think we touched on how it felt for me to race with my kids and to compete with one of them directly on the track. So it's it's really fun. But again, I'm in no position to be saying that I coach anyone in racing. But it's nice to be a support system for him and um, to race with him. There's a couple times we ended up side by side on restarts, and it was just wild. Like I'm sitting there staring over, looking at my kid who's already 21. Like I just remember him being born, and it's just crazy. It's been really fun doing that.
Oh, for sure. And then our last one, Ricky you kind of already answered this one, but Ricky also asked, what was your favorite racing memory this season?
Well, you know what? I'm gonna because it's from Ricky. I think I'm gonna obviously my win, but you know what? To see Ricky win that championship, um, we park beside each other and we chat a lot, and I was really really proud of that kid. So he's an amazing talent behind the wheel, and his family works extremely hard to um, put out the best race car on that track, and with Ron and Rick Williger, and so those guys deserve that, and hard work. Their hard work paid off, and their perseverance. So that'd be a great memory for me, other than my own, for to watch him win it. Um, Extremely happy for him and his family.
Absolutely. But that will conclude our tailored to you medium design fan question period. Of course, we gotta thank Jay for taking the time to answer that. But make sure you guys tune in each week to see who is going to be on our show next week. I think next week we're gonna have a really good guest on, so you guys aren't gonna want to miss that one. But find it on Thursday this week. Um, yeah, thank you, Jay, for taking the time to answer those questions. Uh, as we move through the off season, as we start getting into the off season, it's time for a lot of people to really reevaluate their programs, really reevaluate the series that they run. Um, I want to talk about the CVMs a little bit here because we both agree that this series is near and dear to both of our hearts. We love the club. Um, where where do you see the club kind of going next year?
Well, I think the increased car count helped a lot this season, and having drivers come up to a few of us, more of the regulars, talking about how great the atmosphere was and how they enjoyed it. Um, I think I'm optimistic and for the series to continue that, continue the growth with cars and new drivers and things like that. So I know there's a few more cars that are newly just repaired now and put together, and will be making their debuts next year too, that we haven't seen. So I'm hoping just to see continued growth that way. We've had a lot of great support with sponsorship and things like that. So we're hoping to continue that trend, and to just continue putting on a great show. I think a turning point this year was at APC night, right, where we such a big event, and it was just nice to see, and it continued to the end of the year. So yeah, I'm just anxious to see that to continue to grow. huge thanks to people that weren't coming out regularly and wanted to help out. And you know what? It's made a huge change with the club. And I wasn't around when it was 20, 25, 30, 35 cars. I've heard from people like back in the day. So it's nice to race with that many cars on track. So it's been really fun.
Yeah, same kind of deal with me. Like I've always been around the club. Like the past 4 seasons I was around them. And this is my first season not being around them full time. And to hear stories from John Carley, Mike Pod, and a lot of the older guard of the club, you got to learn. I find you got to learn a lot about what that club was really like back in the 70s and 80s and even the 90s. Um, but it's the one thing I will say though, I love this division so much from like the fact that no two cars look alike. Like you go watch a late model race, all the cars look alike.
Yeah, I agree. It's they're the same, but they're not the same. That's what makes them unique, right? So we
Yeah.
have our rules and specs that we follow, but like you said, body types and roofs and your roof lines and things are different, which make them unique. So I know exactly what you mean about that. Like mine and Ricky's car are like basically sister cars or twin cars, but like the chassis and things like that. But you look at them on track and they really kind of don't look the same, right? But underneath they are. So
Yeah.
it's really cool.
And like the body style that always gets me is that like the Dodge wagon style that like the 84 of Jeremy Barton's old car.
Yeah, and Keen and
Uh
those guys, and even Rutherford
yeah.
this year, right? Like
Yep.
Rodney putting the coach, and
Yep.
those are really good looking bodies, right?
I love those coach cars because like the longer they look longer. I know they're not longer, but they look longer.
Hmm.
And I don't know, like I have a soft spot for those kind of cars. So like when I didn't see any really last year, I was like, man, this sucks. But seeing them again, and Ronnie had a hell of a season
Hmm.
after sitting out last year as well. Uh
Yeah,
if he was around a full season, he'd be a force. Like he would be right there.
yeah, he had an amazing season. It was unfortunate the year before there when the car there was a mishap with his car, and it was nice to see him out here this year, and he had a lot of wins, and he had a great season, and it was nice. It was nice to see him out there be successful too.
For the 2025 season, what can we expect from GTM Racing?
Um, just the same, right? Just same cars, and the kids are. I just talked to them today, and they're excited for next year already. Just the same. Just come to the track, have a good time, and watch them, smile and enjoy um, doing this racing thing. So it's they really enjoy it. So I guess much of the same. Just come out, have a good time, and go from there.
I can't remember if I asked you this back at Motorama or even in the one of the last times we had you on. Did you ask Maddox if he wanted to race, or did Maddox come to you and be like, "Hey, I want to join the family and go racing"?
You know what? I don't really remember, but I think he mentioned it. I think once. I think we were at karting and he mentioned it. We were at an event, and he mentioned it. I thought, really, like if you want to, we could look at it. And he's always been a huge race fan, right? Like he follows F1, NASCAR, and he's been doing it for years. So he's good at that stuff, and I'm not surprised that he's caught on to racing himself, like because he is smart that way, and he's open minded too, right? So he's willing to take any help and advice from the veterans and people that know exactly what they're doing, right? So no, I think it was him that mentioned it, but yeah, really glad he decided to do it. He's had a good time.
That's awesome. I'm glad he has. Like I'm really glad that Tenley's even been out there enjoying it as well, because seeing her go from driving the Pro Challenge to even crewing on your guys' team, and vice versa with Maddox as well, watching him crew on Tenley's car for the Pro Challenge, and then, going racing, you really see that family dynamic between you guys at the track. And sometimes we don't always see that family dynamic when there's multiples racing either in the same series or in different divisions. So, um, I do really like the family dynamic that you guys have going on in the pits there, um, between you, Tenley, and Maddox going out there and racing.
Yeah, it's really great. My dad mentions that all the time. I'm pretty lucky to still have my dad here, and for him, he mentions that too. That he loves. Um, it's not often you can do that. So in the sports that they play, like where obviously I wasn't in there with them, support them as a father, but now that you're actually in the same game, so to speak, it's so fun.
I will say this, the one thing I do love is I know every single race day I pop over and, when if I'm at the track or even if I'm not, but if I stop by and I see your dad is one of the happiest guys I see at the racetrack all day. And, you know, I could see it talking to him that he's so proud of all you guys. And, it's always nice to being able to go chat with him. And I love it when he wants to see some in-car footage when I'm showing some, like I'm filming you guys or whatever. He loves it when I brought up the in-car stuff.
Yeah, he really loves that stuff. And before, when I first started racing, he same with me with Tenley, right? He could barely watch me, thinking that was crazy. Like, what was I doing a sport car, right? But he's used to the kids racing now, and yeah, he enjoys the footage and things like that. Like I said, he had a health scare a long time ago, and he's on borrowed time. I'm lucky to have him here today, and I almost lost him, right? So it's just he's just fortunate to be able to see this and see his grandkids do this. So for me to see him watch that is it's super special, right? Like it's just nice to see.
Oh yeah. Um, I'm not going to take up too much more of your time here on a Sunday night. I know you're busy because can we talk about Pets Pro Painting a little bit? Can we
Well,
let you brag about Pets Pro Painting?
not much to brag about, but sure.
Well, you started Pets Pro Painting, and you know, why don't you tell us a little bit? Why don't you promote Pets Pro Painting here on the show? Let's. I want you to talk about it a little
Well,
bit.
I was working in the painting industry for a long time, in sales and things like that, and working as well and things, and then just decided to branch out on my own and do my own thing, and that's kind of what I'm doing. So I'm kind of doing all of that. So I'm doing everything. So it's my own paint company, and do interior, exterior, residential, commercial, cottages, you name it. So I'm just trying to, yeah, kind of get my feet wet and do my own thing and see where it goes. So it's been nice doing, working for myself. It's demanding. It's for sure it's demanding. And my dad was a business owner for a long time, so I've leaned on him for advice on that side of it. So yeah, it's been good. It's been busy, but busy getting your feet off the ground. But it's been good.
That's
Good.
good, man. If someone is looking to getting some paint work done, how can they get a hold of you?
Well, I haven't set up anything like a web page or anything yet, but and you plug me all the time. I appreciate that. You can just give me a call at like my phone number, and it's 905-394-1470. Contact me there. You can text me or pepspropainting@gmail.com. Shoot me an email, and I'll go pretty much anywhere in Ontario. It's obviously depending on logistics, but I'm not like required to work in any region or anything like that. So yeah, free to work wherever it takes me.
There we go, guys. We heard it from the man himself. Get a hold of him today if you guys are looking for some residential, commercial painting. Get a hold of Jay. I trust him. You guys should too. Uh,
I've been doing it a
I
long time, so yeah,
you want
no,
to hit me so bad for that, and I just know it. Uh, no, it's been great having you, buddy. I know you're a busy man. I don't want to take up too much more of your time. Uh, I want you to take some time, thank all your sponsors who's made your 2024 season possible. Um, and yeah, The floor is yours for the next few minutes.
Well, the first off, with the club, I want to first off, like I said, I want to thank our entire committee um, that helped the series move forward every week. Um, like a Brenda Atkinson, who's been there a long time, Shannon McGlynn Robinson, Kelly Pepin, Lisa Barton, Scott Tonelli, Ricky, Rick Williger, Randy Marshall is with Tech, and Rick's with Tech, and TJ Marshall, our president, and Tim Martin, who helps us out at the track on our daily events, and our whole committee, right? Like everybody's been so amazing to be with and to work with, and everyone just has a love for the club, and it's been really great. So big thanks to the whole committee and all of our sponsors. If I can, I'd love to thank Jay Lindy and Grindstone Landscaping for being our title sponsor. This guy does a lot for racing, and it's an absolute honor to have him represent our series in his first year, and he's really enjoyed it. So huge thanks to Grindstone Landscaping and all our associate sponsors, which I'm going to plug. Touchwood Cabinets and Jason Bowden, thank you. Sherwin-Williams Paints, Oakville Trailers, Ron Easton, Epic Racewear, Dan Bailey, huge supporter of a lot of racing series, B Square Decals, and Chuck Barton, former racer, Jomo Media, the man himself, New Generation Engines, Riverside Heating and Air Conditioning, Drysdale's Racing Products. We get all our tires from there too. Severus Engineering Group. So those are all our associate sponsors. Huge thanks to them. Without those sponsors with the series, like it's tough, right? So to have the support of all those sponsors really helps the club. I don't want to say grow, but have that stability to grow and to move forward. But that's who I wanted to thank for the club, and it's been a blast being a part of that. As for our team, our JTM as a whole, man, we got a few. You want me to go through these here?
Absolutely, man. That's what we got to do.
Like as a
We
team,
got to
our
plug
whole
them.
team, like Oakville Trailers, racing stuff. Huge thank to Ron Easton and them, and Sherwin Williams and LLB Racing, John Bear GMC, Elwood Auto Glass, Epic Racewear, AM Plumbing, WMKL Accountants, Valvano Salon, Jason Howe, Dominion Lending Mortgage Broker, Niagara Brew Club, and TWR Karting. So that's TJ Woolsey. I race for him periodically, so he's a big supporter of our team too. So it's nice to have everybody on board, and I can't thank each and every one of the people I just mentioned for all three of our cars, our team as a whole. Without them, it doesn't happen. So it's big thanks to all of them. Thank you.
All right, man. Well, like I said, I'm not going to take too much more of your time tonight. Thank you for joining us this week on the True North Racing Podcast.
It was my pleasure, John. Thanks for everything that you're doing for racing, and it was a pleasure being on here with you to chat again. Thank you.
All right, guys. That's Jae Pepin in our Graphic Design Studio guest segment of the week. And that was Jae Pepin from the Grindstone Landscaping Canadian Vintage Modifieds. We got to thank Jay for taking the time to chat with us in our Graphic Design Studio guest segment. That means we're just a couple minutes out from ending the show this week. We only have 4 more episodes after this. Yeah, we're I normally don't do anything on long weekends, but I decided, what the heck, I'll record throughout the week. And so we got a great guest coming on this week. We will have I just gotta double check, because I kind of, well, I'll tell you guys in a second here, but honestly, with 2025 around the corner, I can't tell you guys how excited I am with some of the things and I don't want to announce anything yet until it's confirmed, but some of the great thing, like one of the great things I'm working on for next, I'll tell you this one, because this one, it will confirm, will be happening. It's just when and where. We in February, I am planning on hosting or having a Meet the Drivers Day. And it's not going to be a typical Meet the Drivers Day. It's going to be more like immediate. It's going to be Drone Media Media Day. We are going to put together a venue to house us. Drivers will have to bring their fire suits, their helmets. We're going to do a photo shoot, video intros. We're going to do some some Q&A, and some kind of fun stuff that we can air throughout the season. All Joe Media drivers will be asked to attend. We will have also our promotional packages, stickers ready to go. As I said, Darren Dryden joined us with DJD Gear for 2025, which we're excited about that. All Joe Media drivers in 2025 will be asked to run a DJD sticker by Joe Media, the Joe Media sticker you guys receive. As a little contingency deal we got going on. But if you guys are interested in looking at new fire suits, gloves, shoes, helmet wraps, tents, canopies, whatever, vehicle wraps for next year, get a hold of Darren Dryden over at DJD Gear and Graphics. He does. I've been a fan of his work for a very long time. He's like I said, he's done some great things. And you know, he doesn't miss with the designs he has. So go support him. Go get a vehicle wrap for 2025 designed by him. Get a helmet. Upgrade your equipment to showcase your sponsors. You know, that's the one thing I push on here. Go showcase your sponsors. But the next week on the podcast, we will have Austin Riley, the 2022 Radical Cup North American champion. We're gonna learn all about off-road racing again. We got this young man joining us. If you guys haven't checked out his page, it's Racing with Autism. This driver does have autism, and he does a fantastic job racing. He does a lot of promotional work with his sponsors, which is fantastic, with like K1 Speed, Lincoln Electric. But man, I'm excited to learn all about him. Excited to learn about his journey, what his plans are for 2025. And you know, they're selling. I don't know if they've sold out or not, but they do a puzzle piece for his car for 2025. And if you guys are interested, we will put a link in that next week when we chat with him. So yeah, we're gonna I'm hoping to put one on there for next year. I think it'd be great to have one on there. You know, he's such a fantastic driver from what I've seen. And yeah, we can't wait to chat with him for next year. We can't wait to chat with him this week to talk about next year. But that is going to do it for us for episode 152 of the True North Racing Podcast presented by Driving With Hailey. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. Make sure you guys like, share, comment, subscribe. Let us know what you guys like about the show. And if you guys tell me that you don't like me, that's fine. Tell me. I would love to hear it. Any feedback is great feedback. And, you know, just let me know. But yeah, that's going to do it for us for this week. Make sure you guys follow us on all social medias, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, joemedia.ca. You can find our promotional package for next year, drivers, all the latest news, plus so much more. But I'm going to get out of here, man. I've done enough talking tonight, but thank you everyone for tuning into this week's of the True North Racing Podcast presented by Driving With Hailey. I'm your host, John Morrison. We'll see you all next time right here on the True North Racing Podcast. Hope you guys have a great week. See ya. Gas and feel the vibe, going into overdrive. Drop the flag, then the car zooming by. Hey, True North Racing, let's go.